Hi, I'd like to share another lesson from the book of Proverbs. This is our 8th lesson, and the theme of this one is contentment. And sometimes we have to choose contentment over conflict. There are times we need to engage in conflict, but there's other times that we can overlook the conflict and just choose to be content. In Proverbs 15 through 17, it says, "All the days of the oppressed are wretched, but the cheerful heart has a continual feast. Better a little with fear of the Lord than great wealth with turmoil. Better a small serving of vegetables with love than a fattened calf with hatred." So, how can we choose contentment instead of conflict? And in what situations do we have to choose being content instead of engaging in conflict? And sometimes the choice is between contentment or our own conscience. Sometimes we can overlook things, and sometimes our conscience won't let us. In Proverbs 16:7 through 9, it says, "When the Lord takes pleasure in anyone's way, he causes their enemies to make peace with them. Better a little with righteousness than much gain with injustice. In their hearts, humans plan their way, but the Lord establishes their steps." So, how can we emphasize the importance of relationship over being right and increase our contentment? That's like saying, how can we create scenarios where both parties win and it's not a win-lose? And so both parties can be content instead of one person content and the other one not. Sometimes we have to choose between contentment and chaos. Sometimes there needs to be structure and discipline so that everyone can be content. And sometimes a lack of structure and just chaotic activity and fanatic energy sort of causes people to be stressed and anxious. So in Proverbs 17:1 through 3, it says, "Better a dry crust with peace and quiet than a house full of feasting with strife. A prudent servant will rule over a disgraceful son and will share the inheritance as one of the family. The crucible is for silver and the furnace is for gold, but the Lord tests the heart." So how does conflict and chaos produce discontentment? It does. And how does it feed discontentment? And then in Proverbs 13:25, it says, "The righteous in their hearts are content, but the stomach of the wicked goes hungry. But godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into the world and we can take nothing out of it. But if we have food and clothing, we will be content with that." 1 Timothy 6 through 8. So how can we be content if we simplify our life? How will simplifying our life increase our contentment? And then to be content, we need to not fall into the money trap. In 1 Timothy 6 through 10, it says, "Those who want to get rich fall into temptation and a trap, and into many foolish and harmful desires that plunge people into ruin and destruction. For the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Some people eager for money have wandered from the faith and pierced themselves with much grief." So, how does contentment improve our relationship with God? And how can we be content even if we don't have as much money as we'd like? And then the secret of contentment. A happy heart makes the face cheerful, but heartache crushes the spirit. Proverbs 15:13. And then Paul shares a great thought in Ephesians 4:11 through 13 on contentment. He says, "I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need, and I know what it is to have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whether well-fed or hungry, whether living in plenty or in want. I can do all things through him who gives me strength." That's the secret. I can do all things through God who gives me strength. So what is the secret of commitment that Paul claims to know, and how can we practically live that out in our lives? And then the last thought I want to share with you is from Proverbs 3:13 through 16, and that this shares with us and teaches us that wisdom and contentment go hand in hand. They're two sides of the same coin. It says, "Blessed is the man who finds wisdom, the man who gains understanding, for wisdom is more profitable than silver and yields better returns than gold. Wisdom is more precious than rubies. Nothing you desire can compare with wisdom. Long life is in her hand, and in her left hand are riches and honor." So with wisdom, you can gain both wealth and honor and contentment. So how does wisdom increase our level of contentment? According to this verse in Proverbs. I hope this lesson blesses you. Thank you so much for a few moments of your time. God bless.